You guys, Aaron here. I'm going to talk about the price of COD points actually dropping in COD Mobile. Now, everything I'm about to talk about here only applies to the iOS App Store, does not apply to the Google Play Store. But I do think at some point in the future, it will apply to the Google Play Store, all these changes I will be talking about. But for now, this only affects iOS users. So as you guys know, Epic Games vs. Apple lawsuit, antitrust lawsuit, has been going on for a while now, but recently just concluded, and Apple pretty much won, except for one small victory for Epic Games. Now, a judge ruled that Apple can no longer prohibit developers from linking to external sources for in-app purchasing. So what this means is that, using COD Mobile as an example here, when you go to buy COD points, you have to type in an Apple ID password, and then your purchase is made. Everything is done within the Apple ecosystem, like your credit card or whatever you use to buy in-app purchases, in this case COD points. It's all set up through Apple and your Apple ID. But now what this judge is ruling is that Apple can no longer prohibit developers from linking to external sources. So if Activision wanted to, they could set up their own separate Activision store for COD points, or a COD mobile store for COD points on the official Activision website. And now within the COD mobile app, they could link to that website and say, hey, you should buy COD points here because it will be cheaper than buying it through Apple and the in-app purchasing system that Apple has. Because as you guys know, Apple takes a 30% fee with all in-app purchases and app purchases. And of course, Activision and a lot of developers that have in-app purchasing within their apps, they take into account that 30% fee that Apple takes, and that's why prices are higher than they probably should be. So, if Activision can set up their own store for COD points now on the official Activision website, and everything is within the Activision ecosystem instead, in the Activision infrastructure, they could lower the prices a bit for COD points, just to incentivize people to use that store instead of the in-app purchasing system that Apple has set up. Because again, if Activision has their own ecosystem and their own purchasing system for COD points, that 30% fee that Apple takes is no longer taken from Activision. They keep that 30% now because everything's done within Activision now. It's not done through Apple anymore. So we could be seeing COD point prices dropping. Again, I'm using COD Mobile as an example here, but this will apply to any game, any mobile game on the App Store, any app in general that has in-app purchasing. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens here. I'm pretty sure Apple will try to appeal this, so there is a chance that this policy doesn't go through, but I think right now it's looking pretty likely that this policy change will happen. Don't know when it will actually take effect. I would assume probably sometime early next year, but we'll see what happens. Of course, Apple's not happy with this policy change that they'll have to make, but it definitely could have gone a lot worse for them. I believe the end goal for Epic Games was to either be able to put up their own game store, app store on iOS, so have an Epic Game Store, and allow other developers to have their own game stores also, and not have to use the Apple App Store to put apps on iOS, or to just be able to set up their own in-app purchasing system within the app. So that was the main goal for Epic Games here. Obviously, neither of those things were going to happen. I think everyone pretty much knew that already when the lawsuit was first announced. But it still brought some change, some great change for developers, of course. If developers want to set up their own in-app purchasing system, they no longer have to deal with that 30% fee that Apple takes, which should lead to lower in-app purchasing prices. So that's great for consumers also. So it's a win-win here for everyone except for Apple. But let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of this change? Of course, I'm pretty sure we're all happy about it. No matter what game you play, what apps you use, if you're spending money on in-app purchases, you know it gets pretty expensive. So potentially having lower prices, even if it means having to go to an external website, setting up an account or setting up your credit card or whatever through there, definitely will still be worth it, especially if it's a 20% savings or however it's going to be. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Peace.